guys, welcome to part 2 of making a background tutorial, and we're just going to keep it simple. So here we've got our Cinema 4D text, and we've got it on our desktop right here, and we're just going to put that into Photoshop. But before we do that, we've got to open up our template. Now, the template I use, or like to use, my favorite template is got to be the one by Rated. You can find it in his 10K pack. And just go to Call Me Rated X, and that's his YouTube channel, obviously. And it's in part 2 of his pack and templates. We're gonna go ahead and do a partner template today because that's gonna allow me to teach you a ton of effects, and it's just gonna allow me to do more with this tutorial. Alright, so opening up the text. Just gonna click open, go and find it, and you're just gonna drag it over here and then drop it on there. You're gonna want to make sure that it goes into backgrounds. Now I added these color corrections. You can find these in Tewilso, Tehwilso. That's his channel. I believe he quit, but I think all his videos are still up. And that was in one of his packs. So that's just the color corrections, though. They're not really that special. Well, they're really good color corrections, but they're not going to make the background. So we have to make the background. Alright. So I think that's a good starting spot. Now, to get this centered, yeah, I think I'm going to leave it there. To get this centered, you're going to press Control A, and then you're going to click this icon right there, and then you're just going to deselect that. Now, an effect that I like to do is I like to copy this layer. So by copying it, we're just going to drag this layer to this little icon right here. Just going to drag it there, and it's going to make a copy, or you can right click on it and click duplicate layer. Or I believe you can click Control J. Yeah, you can click Control J. There's tons of ways you can do this. My favorite way is just to drag it down. Now, drag the copy below the original. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to press Control T, and you're going to press Shift and Alt, and you're just going to drag it about that much. Then you're just going to press Enter. Now you're going to go over to the opacity settings right here, and I like to make it at about 50%. Now that looks a little too much, so I'm going to bring this down to about 30, and we can also drag this. So, alright, and now we're going to go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur. I think 2.5 is perfect. Now that's one effect. Another effect that you can do instead of Gaussian Blur is go ahead and go to Distort, Ripple, and make sure it's at 100. And that's going to make it look like that. Now that's a really cool effect. I love using that. And for this one, I'm just going to keep it at Blur. You can also do motion blur. It'll make it look like it's kind of moving, and just play around with that a little bit. Now, I like to use flares. Yes, I like to use flares. I honestly hate flares, but for backgrounds, flares kind of come in handy. So, just a simple flare like this. You can get this just about anywhere. So, something like this. Like you can see right here that it's in Wilso's background, which is the same pack that I got his color corrections from. Now, I don't actually use them as most people use them because I honestly hate how most people use them. I like it when they're used with the correct color correction. So, say I put this color correction on, it would look really nice. Alright. Now, you want this to be above the text, so it kind of radiates onto the text, and Then you're just going to delete the excess that's kind of hanging off there. You want it to be above the text, like I said, and just delete what's kind of hanging off right there. And there we go. Just write it down just a little bit, because we don't want it to be too prominent, but we don't want it to not be there at all. And you can change the opacity of it, but you want to know it's there. A really cool thing that I really like to do when it's a dark background is I like to go onto the layer 7, or I'm actually just going to rename this text, and text blurred, or blur. And I like to take my pen tool and just kind of pen tool edges that are a little dark. And for some reason I have that. I don't know why that's ticked. There we go. There we go. Alright. We don't want this to be a shape layer, so you want to go to path. And you want to make sure this is on path, or else you're just going to get what I just got. And you're going to want to... crap. I had it set to a weird setting, that's why I did that. I apologize. But you just want to take your pen tool. It should be set to path. If it's not, set it to path. And then draw your line. You can kind of move your line a little bit. And to undo something, you can press Control-Z or Control-Alt-Z. And to redo something, Control-Shift-Z. Or you can go up here, edit, blah blah blah. Now you want to go you want to right click and go to stroke path, and you want to make sure that your brush is about 2 to 5 pixels, and it's on a soft brush. Then you want to go to stroke path, and you want to put stimulate pressure on, and you want to make sure it's on brush. Click OK, and then delete path. And for this, we're going to create a style. So I already have the style created, and I'm going to show you guys the settings for it. So what you're going to do is, for the inner glow, you're going to take the color of, I'd say this blue right here, and you're going to want to make it bright, and set it to lighten, opacity 100, and set the size to 10 and the choke to 0. And for outer glow, we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to take that, and we're going to set it to screen, and size 9, opacity 100. Then we're going to add a drop shadow, color burn 100, opacity, and make sure it's black. Distance 2, size 3. Then you're going to click OK. And it's going to create that effect. Now you can make this red. Now I could have changed this effect and made it this color red. You want it to be bright though, because it's going to make it stand out. And we're going to enhance it a little more as well. So that's what it would look like if it was red, because you can change the color to whatever color you're doing. That would probably make it a little better, or you can leave it to white. It doesn't really matter. But I'm just going to do this blue that we were originally doing, because I think that looks just a little better. And that's good. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to create a new layer on top of that, and we're going to go to our brush tool. We're going to create a soft brush in about, I'd say 10 pixels because of how small the line is. and we're going to make it that color again, and just go over it and set it to overlay, and that's going to create that effect. I really love that effect. I think it really brings out that side, and it really just makes your background, or even, this even works with logos. It looks really cool with like clan logos and stuff. So imagine doing that a few times around tutorial. Now I'm just gonna do that a few times and I'll come back to you. So I'm just gonna pause it, do it a few times. You guys can do it too. I'm gonna do the same exact thing that I did right there, and you guys can see how it looks after it's all done. Alright guys, this is what it looks like after the all the effects have been added, and I think it looks pretty cool. So if you don't like this effect, you don't have to use it, but I like it, so I use it sometimes. Sometimes I don't, you know. And you can play around with the drop shadow, because sometimes the drop shadow is a little too much, so I'd say maybe change the distance a little bit. You can see it changing there. I think for this one the distance would be 1. I think that would look really good. I think that does look really good. And yeah, that's just the text. So it's going to take you a little while to make a background. Expect to put aside about a half hour for each background, if not more. Sometimes I spend over an hour making a background, and this is going to be about it for this part. I apologize, I didn't teach you too much in this part, but I'm going to try and put these all up kind of back to back to back so that you guys don't have to wait too long for the next one to come out, and you guys can just learn a whole bunch of stuff in the matter of maybe an hour. Alright guys, so here's part 2, and thanks for watching. I'll be back with part 3, and see you then.